In today's episode of TGIF, we have a beautiful man. A car gets topless. Sunny the slow on track as usual.
I'm pretty sure somewhere in the episode, Akash is going to call me slow after watching this.
And Akash sits for 4 hours and so much more. Finally, you have blessed us with your presence.
I have.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is the good-looking feature. Okay, one of the good-looking features of TopGear. And let me introduce to you Mr. Roshan.
With that introduction, welcome to another episode of TGIF. And why do we do this again?
Well, we, like our viewers, are enthusiasts and we love our cars, we love speed, and we want to keep them up to date with everything automotive in the solar system, along with everything that we do in the last week.
You know, we have so much of action in the week. We drive cars, we ride bikes and scooters.
Automotive
all around the
action.
world. Automotive action, actually.
So one-stop shop, auto
everything.
fun.
Correct.
वही है यार, 4th episode, Roshan.
Oh, okay.
With that, should we start with the scooter, the motorcycle? What did you do?
Scooter first. So we got to go and experience the 110 Jupiter, which was a very new attempt on them getting the whole Honda Activa market. And now they have introduced a small battery that gives you 0.6 Newton meters of torque.
And how much of a difference does that make?
Like, how much does 0.6 Newton meters make for car guys?
A lot. In my mind.
In your mind, a lot.
Yeah.
So, apart from what I understand is the price point is the biggest thing. They are going to introduce it in 70s to 80s, 80,000, which goes bang on with the...
Much cheaper than Activa.
A little cheaper than Activa, but now they are saying that their edge is with the connected features and also this small battery hybrid system that they've got. Now they call it a mild hybrid, they don't say it's a hybrid, but how much of it will ever help?
I think TVS is now also getting a lot of limelight after Bajaj with the CNG. I think with this, they've come back in the news and there's so much of chatter about it on the internet. That's something really exciting. And other news was the Ola, right?
So Ola called us to their, huge mega factory, and they did not even let us touch the bike.
It was a stock market launch.
The new
no?
bike.
Yeah.
It was a stock market. Huh? The stock price went up by 70% and more. And there's no clarity on what the bike is and etc. Right?
So
What did they let you do?
They let us sit. They let us watch a 4-hour documentary on what Ola was, what Ola is going to be. And they are doing
4 hours?
4 hours, I'm not even kidding you. We were
Hence
hungry.
the stock market game. They were more analysts than the auto enthusiasts, right?
I swear. And they got the bikes out for 10 minutes. It's the Roadster, Roadster Pro, Roadster X, starting from 74,000 all the way to 250,000. So what baffles me is the spec sheet. They say in 2.5 lakhs, they will give you 53 kilowatt of, power from the motor. And they'll give you around 300 odd plus range. They'll give you this, they'll give you that.
At a price lesser than the Ultraviolet.
Way lesser than the Ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet is a
Lakh and
cool
half.
bike. This is like a good looking bike. They're trying to, go after the European market. Ultraviolet is, I would say, the Lotus or the Mercedes.
The pioneers and that's very impressive because it's an Indian brand that is trying to go global, which is...
Still, their sales have not really ticked off the way it should be because understandable, people buying, anybody paying 4 lakh rupees for a brand which is, it is taking them a lot of time to also...
But they're
come
going
to the
slow
market.
and steady.
They're going slow and steady, but they're getting traction. One thing you have to give to Ultraviolet guys because they design the bike damn well, man. It just hits you. It just looks so gorgeous. That is for sure. I've not ridden it personally, but what Anant and you guys tell me, that is very good to ride and good to handle, etc., etc. So, whatever Ola is doing. But do you know when is the bike being launched?
Diwali, they said.
Which Diwali? 25, 26, 27?
Bhavesh Agarwal Diwali. So that is what I know. Maybe not. But for us as journalists, we don't think the spec sheet can be matched. It's very big.
But did you buy the stock or not?
No, absolutely not.
Yes. Because we are auto enthusiasts. We should not talk about the stock market. Correct.
Anyways, enough bikes. What about cars?
Oh, well.
Oh yeah, I went and saw a very cool car. It's by a tech brand and they're getting into the automotive industry, which is very impressive. Can you guys guess?
Sony?
Very
Xiaomi,
close,
Xiaomi,
and
Xiaomi.
yeah, he knows.
Oh.
the
But I saw this car in CES last year. I think last year they've been talking. It has been making news. They also come with a fridge at the rear seat. Roshan, you should put your yogurt.
My
maybe?
manufacturing expertise into
Yes.
refrigerators. Like,
Refrigerator.
what will I store? Like,
You
like to
definitely
drink and
can't
drive?
store your
like no drink and drive. So
For
yogurt,
sure, yeah.
yogurt,
feed
water.
my children there.
Yeah, milk.
Or have a dessert cake. No, it's just
And
pointless.
nobody, Mercedes,
When was
Range
the last
Rover,
time you used the fridge in the Maybach?
Never. I had once put a champagne just for shoot.
Yeah.
See, also I could
That
not
was my
use.
shoot.
That's it.
I think I finished that.
I mean, no manufacturer could ever think of putting a refrigerator in the seats of all the cars. And here comes a tech brand. That's also disruptive thinking, guys. That's also something which you think out of the box. But when was the last time when someone could think? Because all the other auto manufacturers, they'll go by the book. Okay, this is where the door is. This is where the they'll go. They'll follow the rituals. But this brand will come. Next, you see maybe a refrigerator outside, and you can sell candies outside.
Are we
Probably.
expecting a impending launch?
Well, you'll have to watch the video. Yes, I am with the biggest gadget that Xiaomi makes, the SU7 Max. And while I have told you about all the specs, the performance, what the car offers on our social media page, click here to watch our reel on Instagram. I'm not going to discuss how it is to drive, when is it coming to India, and what's it going to be priced at. So while we weren't personally allowed to drive the car, we thought it's better to get someone who's actually experienced the Xiaomi SU7 Max in India. So Sandeep, how is it to drive and how was your experience?
So the Xiaomi SU7 is a totally surreal experience. I think when we initially thought of getting a car that's from the house of Xiaomi, it was an interesting proposition. But the moment I got behind the wheel, it felt totally surreal. And the moment I pressed the accelerator, I think the feeling was even more greater because it goes from 0 to 100 in just 2.78 seconds. It's an absolutely wonderful vehicle, not just in terms of performance, but it's extremely comfortable as well thanks to the air suspension and the fact that it has all those great connectivity features thanks to HyperOS that's powering it, and the fact that it works really well with all your devices at home and in your office as well.
Alright, so what's your favorite bit about the car?
One of my favorite features probably is the acceleration itself, but if I were to talk about three different things, one is the acceleration, one is the comfort, and third is the fact that it has a great audio system, 23 speakers with Dolby Atmos.
And now to the big question, when is it coming to India, and if it does, what is it going to be priced at?
As of now, there are no plans to launch the Xiaomi SU7 outside of China. We're just focusing on ensuring that we get the best possible output from it, and considering the fact that it has HyperOS as well, we can improve upon several features and also ensure that all of our customers are happy and smiling across the country.
Thank you, Sandeep. And with that, back to the studio.
Super impressive. Do you think Xiaomi has the industrial infra to build cars?
Actually, it's very impressive because when we buy a new car from a manufacturer, we ideally wait for the facelift because that's when the tweaks are done, the corrections happen, and we get a better product. But what's impressive that this is a newcomer in the industry with their new product, and it's so well built. There were no glitches when I had the time to experience with it, and I had a long conversation with the marketing head who has driven it, and he had such great things to say. So
He's from marketing, right?
Yeah, he is from marketing, so I really want to drive it. Can we please go to China soon?
Yes, but you know what is happening of late? Yesterday, Canada has imposed a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs in country, and Canada is a big trade partner with China. So Europe has also put a 60% import duty, which is going to give a very hard shake to the Chinese EV makers because they are oversupply, they have overcapacity because they are giving subsidies.
I think we should do a Chinese EV special.
Definitely.
For sure.
That's something that's coming up. Drop on the comments if you want that to happen because Roshan is an expert in Chinese EV. And you also have a big key in your hand.
You have the same key in your
This
hand.
is a countryman.
This is the key of the new Cooper S, which I had a chance to drive. Super cool, super tech. I love minis. I should not say I love British, but I know we will get flagged for showing British content.
Pen is mightier than the sword.
Okay. but
You're
this
as
key-
beautiful as the soul.
Have a look. The new generation of Mini keys, which don't look mini anymore, but what's not changed is the 2024 Mini Cooper S in what it offers. It's got great character, great power, hot hatch, and a go-kart mode now, and looks that are unmatchable. This one is the 2-liter turbo petrol pumping out 200 bhp in a sunny side yellow. I think it's going to be a great fun drive today. So what's changed on the new Mini Cooper S? Primarily, the petrol is actually the same mechanical product as the earlier version. Unlike the EV, which is brand new, we still get the 200 bhp, 300 Nm torque, 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds, but you don't talk about minis because of its 0 to 100, right? It's all about that handling and that compactness and that style. But where things move up is actually the interior of the new Cooper S. It's gone up a few notches in terms of luxury, starting with this beautifully chunky steering wheel with a little dash of fabric as the third spoke, matte silver gold inlays. The fabric inlays in terms of grey option that we get are quite nice, they're quite new. Scratchy plastics at the bottom remain, but the retro look in terms of the central dial and the knobs that you had in terms of chrome, all that is gone off the old Cooper S into the new one. The sunroof now is standard, it's panoramic. That's quite nice. Manual blinds. We've got a heads-up display which actually can be moved away. The driving position is pretty spot on. You're not driving higher up compared to the EV, and the space at the rear also, I believe, it's improved from before. Easy to get in, get out for young adults or kids only. Boot is a joke. It's just, I don't know what, 200 liters without a spare wheel. So I think that's where the practicality gets like a 1 on 5. But otherwise, for a hot hatch, what it offers, it's very comfortable. Ride quality is on the stiffer side, as I said. You will be jostled around. I mean, if you're paying similar money, braking performance and the ride quality in terms of plushness, a 3 Series Grand Limousine will give you a better bet on that. But you're not buying this for pure highway runs anyways, right? Talking about the interior and the highlight, which is this beautiful 9.4-inch display, smartphone-esque. You know, I can change a lot of things here using the experience button, which allows me to change the experience mode. So right now I was in timeless and now I'm going to go-kart mode. And go-kart is what changes, of course, the way the graphics change, the fonts change. What also changes is the way the engine responds, the notes. You feel that you're in a faster mode, right? And let's do a 0 to 100 quick. Whoa! It is quite fun to drive and response is great, and I think that is what we buy a Mini or use it for those night drives. What also is great is there's a lot of space liberated, so a lot of cubby holes now. I've got 3 cup holders, I've got the vertical smartphone charger, barely any space left on the door pads. But what I miss is actually there's no gear selector now. The gear shift is gone. It's on the front dashboard through a knob. That's the thing I really miss. Apart from that, for what it's intended to be used as a luxurious city runabout, I think this is fabulous. It's, of course, it's on the firm side. That there's no denying that. But what you get for almost a price of what, 60 lakhs on road that you're looking at, a whole lot of character, a whole lot of retro iconicism, if that's a word. But at the same time, this is so nice and fun to drive. It's compact and great for in-city driving. Of course, when you pay this kind of money, that's a separate argument that we all can have for miles on end. But this is a statement car. It's a great car that you can shortlist and actually consider if you're going to spend that kind of money and you want something that you're looking for, which is character, a lot of character and a lot of, awesomeness that I've been repeating. But back to you guys now, back to the studio.
Whatever said and done, Roshan, it's very expensive.
But it's a statement car. Like, you're not going to buy a Mini Cooper for your supermarket errands, right? It's a statement car.
Exactly.
I was telling earlier that it's a go-kart.
It's a go-kart, really. Like, it's fun to drive. It's actually now more spacious, even though...
And it is the last petrol-powered Mini that possibly we will foresee.
Whatever said and done, still expensive for the size.
But it's a statement car, right?
But speaking of statement and pointless cars, haven't you been driving something pointless, expensive, and topless in the Bombay weathers.
If you want to call it topless, it gets its roof down. That's not.
Oh, I thought
exactly-
Ramesh was driving topless.
In the rains. Wouldn't you
car
want to watch that?
has an inherent capacity and capability to get itself into a topless position, if that's what you're imagining. But that car is actually a very wild car. Trust me, if you want to buy a car, if you want to pay 1.15 crores plus, I mean 1.3 crores, and that's the car you
We're
have to buy.
still talking about a car, guys.
We're still talking about a car which can get into a topless position, but it also is a head turner. People actually watch, and when I was driving around, of course it was raining, so you can't get the roof down all the time. But the point is that in the Mumbai pollution, it's actually pointless to get it topless. Number
You
one.
pay 1.15 crore to breathe
Not
natural air and get attention that you would normally also get if you were driving topless.
But I did go out and had some fun. See it. Yes, the Mercedes CLE 300 Cabriolet is different. It's different because there's nothing like this. It's the only car with 4 seats which can get its roof down, or rather in short, become topless. Yes, but in order to do that, you need a couple of things which needs to be in favor. For example, the sunlight needs to be in the right amount. The wind should be right. There should not be rain. Plus, there should not be too much of pollution. You should not be within the city limits. You should be outside the city limits in the greenery environment. Then only you can enjoy this. So in order for all of that to achieve, you need to live by the countryside, or you have to go early morning, late night. Then only you can enjoy that. Because honestly, all of these things is difficult to get. That does not make this car less appealing. It is a car which has its own sex appeal. It actually attracts attention. When you're out with your wife, girlfriend, mother, father, kids, whoever, friends, getting that wind, play with your hair, having a roof down is something which is not comparable to even the Range Rover Autobike for that matter. This car is unlike any other car, and for this price point of about 1.10 crore ex-showroom, you don't have anything with 4 seats. And these 2 seats are not that bad like a Ferrari Spider, for example. It is a little practical seats. You can have people adjust for a longer length of time, which means you can enjoy. So this car also is very tech loaded. It also gets a 23 horsepower boost mode, which is something good. The performance wise, it's never short. It's very playful. The braking is on point, and life in this looks very, very comfortable. Now this Cabriolet is also very tech loaded in terms of power, 400 Nm of torque, and everything is very, very specced up. This also gets a screen which can tilt, so that if there's a lot of sunlight when you have got the roof down, you are more easily seeing. The same thing is there in SLS, but in order for me to get this roof down, I'll have to have a change of clothes and maybe stop talking. Now, cabriolets in India has never been too successful. They don't sell in numbers. It's a lifestyle vehicle, and it's a +1 vehicle. It cannot be the only vehicle that you have for a lot of practical reasons. In order to make life interesting, and if you want to live by the adage, life is too short to drive boring cars, then this is that car which makes it very interesting. And it's also quite fun.
I think it's very bold of Mercedes to launch this type of car because it's not been very popular in our country. So, do you see many buyers for this?
See, if you ask me, there's no other car which is a 4-seater, proper 4-seater. I would not say proper, I mean, still decently proper 4-seater, and which can get its roof down. So, if you want a lifestyle car, which is a +1 car, and you want to go out occasionally and have fun, it's a car which you'll enjoy with your girlfriend, with your wife, with your family, with your kids. But, in India, it's either hot, it's either raining, or it's either very polluted or noisy. So where do you drive this? You have to always go out on the, little out of the city limits and then enjoy the car. For that and the kind of money, it's a CBU, so.
And it's not even an AMG.
I'll rather buy a GLC 43 AMG maybe. That's what
It's
we...
priced the same. Yeah,
priced
so makes more sense. And speaking of AMGs, I had a very fast weekend at the Temple of Speed. So let me just show you guys what I was about to do.
I hope it won't be...
Topless. No, it's not.
Okay.
It's a proper enthusiast weekend, so it's all coupes or hard roofs. Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Slow cars on a racetrack. Let's see how fast you go.
Yeah, let's watch. But before we get onto the track and have some fun, let me show you what Skoda has added to its lineup. The first one is the Slavia Monte Carlo edition. And following its sibling Kushaq, it gets the red paint treatment to make it look more sportier. The chrome has been replaced with gloss black elements like this front radiator grille, the fog lamp housing, even the ORVMs, the roof and the spoiler at the back get the gloss black treatment. You have 16-inch alloy wheels on the side and you also get the Monte Carlo badging to remind you of Skoda's WRC pedigree. Both the front seats are electrically adjustable, get the ventilated function and are now finished in this nice red trim, red and black trim to signify the sportiness. You also have the dashboard finished in the same theme, red, black, gloss black. You also have pedals finished in aluminium. Again, very sporty. And Skoda has also introduced a more affordable, a more accessible variant of the Slavia and the Kushaq, and they've called it the Sportline trim. Now it misses out some of the features that the Monte Carlo variant gets, but it also shares some of them, like the gloss black variants, like the grille, the fog lamp housing, the roof, the ORVM, even the alloy wheels on the outside.
Now in terms of performance, both cars are based on the mid-range signature trim and come with a 1-litre TSI engine paired to a manual or an automatic transmission, or the 1.5-litre turbo petrol paired to a DCT.
And it's a similar story with the Kushaq as well. You have the blacked out trim pieces, the ORVM, the roof, you have the 17-inch alloy wheels and the blacked out lettering at the rear. And at the time of shooting this video, we don't have the prices, but once it goes live, you should have a table showing you everything right here. Alright, so we're gonna start first with the slalom test, which is gonna judge the stability of the car. So here we go.
Quick directional changes are the key at reasonable speeds, and for that you need a good chassis setup, and as you can see, the Slavia quite delivered.
And we're done. And next part is the autocross.
While the 1.5-litre delivered a brisk acceleration, the brakes were on point, slowing all of that speed down into corners. What let it down were the OEM tires, and that is something designed for efficiency and not for speed and grip like what we are facing today.
And that's the end.
Now the one we are driving comes with the 1.5-litre TSI engine with a 7-speed DCT gearbox, and it produces 148 brake horsepower and 250 Nm of torque. And now it was time to put all of that power and torque to use at the BIC.
Turn 1, which is right-hander, we go to the left and hard on the brakes. Now this one is tricky because there's a gradient going up into a right turn, so brake early on, get that apex, there's a double apex, and early on the throttle. Now we have the back straight, which is quite long, 130, 140, 150, my foot's on the floor, 160. I think we're going to touch 170 before we're going to start braking. I'm pretty sure somewhere in the episode, Akash is going to call me slow after watching this. I can almost bet that he's going to call me slow, but I challenge him to bring a bike here.
The Slavia has always set the benchmark for exceptional handling, and this drive was no different. Despite being a 1.5-litre engine, it comfortably reached the high 170s on the straights. The brakes, paired with rapid downshifts from the DCT, delivered sharp control, allowing precise entry into those apexes. What impressed me the most was how even after pushing the Slavia to its limits, through the slalom, autocross, the moose test, and full hot laps at the BIC, the brakes, though scorching hot, never showed any signs of fading. There was no loss of bite or feedback, and under intense conditions, both the brakes and the chassis delivered a consistently outstanding performance, which reminded us of how fun the Slavia is to drive.
And that's it. This has been quite good fun with the Skoda Slavia on the track. And whew, the 1.5 liter TSI. Such a driver spec car, man. Such a driver spec car. If you guys are into motorsport, if you like to drive fast, this is the place to do it at India's Temple of Speed. That's been quite fun. Just gonna get out. Fun day. And with that, back to the studio. Now, did that look slow to you from any angle?
Look from some.
What are you talking about? You drive a scooter with additional 0.6 Nm.
इसे मत बोल यार.
Just guys. Didn't you go for a drive with the flagship Mercedes EQS?
I was the first one to unwrap it, so why don't I just show you?
Topless and unwrapping.
This
Action packed.
TG 13 Pro Max.
Watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, Under Wraps is the first ever EQS SUV to touch our shores. And it's not just any other EQS SUV, it's the first ever electric Maybach EQS SUV. And today, we're gonna check it out. Up front, it wears the Mercedes ornament on the hood proudly with Maybach lettering. And down below is a blanked out grille with chrome pinstriping. Now, if you take a closer look, I suspect that Mercedes is so proud about the pinstriping that they'd have to move the camera off center in order to not interrupt one of them. And now you can't unsee it. In terms of the profile, you have 21-inch wheels, a 3.2 meter long wheelbase, and an overall length of 5.1 meters. This thing is absolutely massive. It gets rear wheel steering, which can change the direction of the rear wheels by up to 10 degrees, which will increase maneuverability at lower speeds and stability at higher speeds. It also gets air suspension as standard, which can increase the ground clearance by 35 mm. And coming to the rear, you have some cool looking LED tail lamps, Maybach lettering, Mercedes-Benz logo, and a lower apron that's finished in chrome. But there is no Maybach logo. Wait a second. Open the boot and you have 440 liters of boot space along with the Maybach logo. And there's loads of bling. You have a two-tone paint job, your Maybach logo, loads of chrome on the pillars, your chrome finished door handles along with a Maybach logo footstep and these monoblock wheels, besides these multiple Maybach logos in the front bumper. Now let's see what's on the inside. And because I'm sat in a Maybach, I don't have to close the door myself. The car will do it for me with a simple gesture or a tug on the door lever. In the back, I get two 11.6-inch tablets besides a tablet in the center console, which I can remove and use this way instead of just reaching out to the seat in front. I also get a wireless charging pad besides a hidden cup holder which is heated and cooled. And if you don't think it's working well enough, you also get a fridge in the back, which is an optional extra. Now you get two configurations for the seat. You have a 4-seat configuration and a 5-seat configuration. The 4 one that we are sat in is an optional extra, and it gets these Boss style seats which have massagers inbuilt and also have ventilation and heating function. You also have the Boss mode wherein everything just extends and gives you a lounge, a lot of more space so that you can chill underneath this massive panoramic sunroof, enjoying your ambient lighting and enjoying sounds of the Burmester audio system. Now that is a new one. It gets a 4D sound with Dolby Atmos, and it has energizers in the seats themselves that give you that additional thump in your heart to enjoy a concert-like experience in this EV. And on the inside, you're greeted to a wooden steering wheel, a massive digital real estate. You have a passenger screen, an infotainment screen, and a digital driver's display. And this is what Mercedes calls the Hyper Screen Trio. You also have a heads-up display. Besides, you also get a great amount of soft touch materials in high quality leather, and also get this pillow for the driver's seat. It's an opulent place to be in. And your driver is not left out. Press the brake pedal and the door closes on its own so that even your chauffeur can enjoy the luxury of a Maybach. Moving all of this is a 122 kWh battery pack paired to two motors, one on each axle, which makes it a 4MATIC. In terms of number, it produces a 649 bhp, 950 Nm of torque, 0 to 100 in 4.4 seconds, and it also has 200 kilowatt DC fast charging capability. Now, I don't know where you'll find such a fast charger, but it is future proof. And if you do manage to find one, you can get 300 kilometers of range in just 20 minutes of charging. Now, in terms of the pricing, we expect it to be more than rupees 2 crores ex-showroom, and obviously you can have optional extras. So let us know what you guys think about the new Mercedes-Maybach EQS SUV in the comments below. And with that, back to the studio.
That looked beautifully unwrapped. Moving on from your EV to the EV he's been driving it. So coming to long-termers, right? Last part of this TGIF. Tell us more about the Q8 Etron Sportback.
Yes, I've been living with the Q8 Etron for 2 months now.
It's been so hard on him. We've been living with
like,
the MG Comet, the Swift.
kya matlab?
I didn't get the N line yet.
It's okay, it's okay, guys. It's okay. And it was difficult. You see it for yourself. Yes, I've been living with the Audi Q8 Etron for 2 months now. And here is my summary. You can live your life in a luxury EV in a very comfortable way, as long as you have a wall-mounted charger at the place of your work or at the place where you stay. If you don't have that, then just forget about it. Because recently I did a trip to Pune. It had only 182 kilometers on range. On my way back, I was trying to get it charged, and I had to wait almost an hour, because even as part of having a DC charger, the electricity supplies in all these charging networks is not constant. It fluctuates. But there are slopes when those ghats when you come back from Pune. So with this level 2 region, you actually gain about 40 kilometers. That's huge. It's very easy to live. It pulls up in style. The lighting conditions, the matrix lights on the front and the rear, the light combination. Every time you park your car in the garage and say goodbye, it's an emotional feeling. The rear passengers never complain. I have massage seats in both the front and the co-passenger seat. Massage seat functions are located right here. Unlike the Mercedes, which is right here, you have good driving modes. In terms of battery, it's very easy to get about a 300 plus range on any style of riding. It is a 1.15 crores car. With that, you have many options. I would definitely agree with that. But it also pulls up in a very demeaning way. It does not shout its presence, unlike any other SUVs from the Range Rover or from the Mercedes, which actually is very conspicuous. So in that sense, people who know that, they know that you're understated. But if you have that kind of money to spend, would you buy an EV? If you ask me, maybe I would have bought an EV, because once you start living with it, you realize the silent cabin, you realize the cost savings on a daily basis, because you straight away save 1/4 of your fuel bill. That's a straight saving. And then your overall driving pleasure is much better, because A, you have the luxury, B, you have a silent cabin, you have the thrill, you can get this instant pickup, there is less wear and tear, which means that it won't give you so much trouble as an ICE car. But these cars anyways are not supposed to give you trouble. So all in all, I am loving my time with the Q8 Etron. If you've been living with a luxury EV, drop in the comments what's your feedback, how your living has been. We'll come back on the next one very soon, and it's time to go back to the studio. And now we have started a new section. That section is called the Rev Report, which basically gives a gist of everything auto in the world. News tidbits that matters is like a news reading, but in a very stylized way, very concise way. Right on it.
True. So let's watch.
Welcome to Rev Report. My name is Akash, and today we'll be going through a few of the interesting news that has come up over the week. Electric vehicles don't need subsidies now, says Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari. Now, he expects that people do not need such a push from the government to even change or consider changing into the life of an EV. He thinks the EVs are capable enough on their own to do so. His basis on the fact that he thinks that the batteries are getting cheaper and also the infrastructure is getting cheaper, so it will be viable for EV companies to do that on their own. Moving on, let's talk about a few stickers. Bharat NCAP has come up with their own sticker to put on all the cars that they think they need information about. What the sticker is basically a QR code that will tell you everything about the test that has been done on the vehicle, and this will be a way to have more openness and more understanding of how important safety is when you're buying a car. Tata Harrier and the Safari has been awarded with the Safer Choice Award from GNCAP. Now, the Tata Harrier needs such a push and needs all the stars that it can under its product because they've been selling for 1800 roughly. To be very honest, when your Mahindra XUVs are selling at the numbers of 7000, you really need to have as many, good qualities as you can for your product. So will these stars help improve the numbers, or will the numbers remain stagnant or keep getting less? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's talk motorsports. And the first thing that comes into motorsports is the Indian Racing League that happened in Chennai under lights and on the streets of Chennai. We were there, we were watching the race, and to understand what was the entire thing happening there, or what was the entire experience like, we would love to tell you that we'll be dropping a video soon, and it's got everything. But one thing said that it was a success story on the whole. This was the first time in India that racing happened under floodlights, and it was phenomenal. We had the Formula 4, we had the LGVs, we had the IRL, and we also had the main commentator for the event, that was Soumil Arora. But then more on that later. Ferrari won in Monza. Grande, grazie mille, grazie tutti, Forza Ferrari. It's a great day to be a Ferrari fan, be a Tifosi, and as you can see, I am one. But then it was supposed to be a McLaren win, to be honest, because they were pretty strong throughout the entire weekend, and Ferraris were, to be honest, like there, but then, they were always fighting in the top 3 or the top 6 this time. But the McLaren had a little bit of a fault with their strategy, and for that, they lost the position, ended at P2 and P3. But Charles Leclerc won it, and it is freaking awesome. Marc Marquez wins after 1043 days here at Aragon, and it was a phenomenal sight. This also goes to show that how well he's accustomed to the Ducati motorcycle. Now he's racing under Gresini Racing, but then the same bike. Now with Jorge Martin leading the championship, it will be really interesting to see if he can keep up on the top spot of this championship, or just like last year, he's gonna lose it again to Pecco Bagnaia. Now with all that said, back to TGIF.
So we've come to the end of TGIF, and if you watched it for so long, thank you. Do not let us know in the comments below what you didn't like. Let us know in the comments below what you would like to see more of, and thanks for watching.
So the new guy just did the outro.
I'm not new technically. I've been around for a while. You've not seen enough of me, so
Hey
I
guys,
see
don't
enough.
forget to like, share, subscribe,
Salary
and see
cut.
you in the next one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys.